the kid's digital detective. Mr. Harris, a man in his late 40s, sat comfortably in his favorite chair. He was proud of how he kept up with the times, even though his kids often teased him for being old school. But one thing he knew was important. Check your kids' devices often. His teenage son, Jake, was always glued to his phone. Mr. Harris didn't want to be the strict dad, but he also knew the internet was a wild place. So, one evening after Jake went to bed, Mr. Harris decided to take a peek at Jake's phone. He carefully unlocked it, trying to remember the code Jake used. He guessed right on the third try. Still got it, he muttered with a grin. He expected to find harmless texts, maybe a few memes. What he didn't expect was a shopping list. Mr. Harris scratched his head. The list had strange items like dragon eggs, magic beans, and invisibility cloak. His curiosity grew. Was Jake planning some kind of prank? Or had he joined a wizard club? Determined to get to the bottom of it, Mr. Harris checked Jake's internet history. There he found searches like how to train your dragon, wizard school near me, and potion recipes. Mr. Harris chuckled. Jake wasn't getting into trouble. He was planning to become a wizard. The next morning at breakfast, Mr. Harris couldn't help but tease his son. So, Jake, any plans to turn your old dad into a toad today? Jake's eyes widened and his face turned bright red. Dad, were you snooping on my phone? Mr. Harris laughed. Just keeping an eye out, son. But if you need help finding that dragon, let me know. I've always wanted to ride one. Jake groaned, but he couldn't hide his smile. You're the worst, Dad, he said, shaking his head. Mr. Harris winked. Remember, Jake, magic always needs a little bit of wisdom. And who has more wisdom than your dear old dad? Jake rolled his eyes, but laughed along. From that day on, whenever Mr. Harris asked Jake about his wizard studies, they both shared a knowing smile. Checking your kids' devices, Mr. Harris thought, might just bring a bit of magic into your life.